Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mas Faisal Askari. I will explain what the adverb of frequency. Next. Do you know what adverb of frequency is and its examples? In our daily life, we often use adverb of frequency in Indonesian. So, how and when to use adverb of frequency in English correctly? Adverb of frequency is a word or phrase that expresses how often an activity is done by someone. Phrases that we will find in adverb of frequency include daily, weekly, often, rarely, and so on. For example, when you are about to come home from school, your mom will always call and ask how you are doing. Adverb of frequency sentences that express this can be expressed with my mother calls me on the phone frequently, or my mother always calls me after school. Adverb of frequency is basically divided into two types based on its time speculation, namely adverb of definite frequency and adverb of indefinite frequency. To find out more, let's learn the difference together below. Adverb of definite frequency. The correct use of adverb of definite frequency is by noting the frequency of an event or occurrence with a space-time. These time descriptions must have explained when the event after occurs. Phrases that include adverb of definite frequency, that's hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, every, yearly, every second, twice a year, once a minute, twice, once, or their time, third time. Example sentence description word frequency defines. My mother wakes me up every morning to have breakfast. Every time I see him, he keeps looking at his phone. His father keeps changing his car monthly. Our family traveling yearly to get some healing, and this year we will go to New Zealand. Mm. Adverb of indefinite frequency. Unlike the adverb of definite frequency, the adverb of indefinite frequency, there is not need to know a specific time. The time information in question is the approximate time or range of time that occurs. You can use the following pertains to determine the time or how often the event occurs in adverb of indefinite frequency. 100%, always, constantly, usually, normally, frequently, regularly, often. 50% sometimes, rarely, occasionally, infrequently, seldom, hardly ever. 0% never. Example sentence adverb of indefinite frequency. He always studies so hard in English cause he wants to be a winner of spelling bee competition. Hardly ever see Tom in low spirits just like now. Maybe there is something wrong with him. I never found someone like you, the one who keeps trying hard in every situation. Common example of an adverb of frequency include always, usually, often, sometimes, never. The adverb of frequency helps to perfect time context in the sentence so that the listener or reader can understand how often something happens. Sentence at verb of frequency. Always. She always wake up at 6 a.m. I always brush my teeth before bed. He always bring his notebook to meetings. They always celebrate birthday together. We always have breakfast at 8 a.m. She always cries when daddy goes to work. I always do laundry in the morning. Next. Usually. He usually takes the bus to work. I usually read a book before sleeping. She usually visits her parents on weekends. They usually go jogging in the morning. We usually have dinner at 7 p.m. I usually clean the bedroom. I usually sing in my work breaks. We usually get together with our family in the evening. She usually jogs in the afternoon. I usually study at night. Next. Continue often. They often go to the gym after work. She often drink coffee in the morning. He often forget his keys. We often go out to play after school. She often looks in the mirror in the bedroom. We often go on holiday abroad. I often study for my exams. We often get together with our family on weekends. Next, sometimes. I sometimes hesitate to make decisions. I sometimes eat at school. He sometimes goes jogging in the afternoon. We sometimes go on holiday on weekends. We sometimes get into trouble at school. I sometimes clean the bedroom. We sometimes play football in the afternoon. I sometimes read a book. Next. Never. I never smoked. He never said a bad word. I never skip school. I never miss a lesson. I never sleep during school lesson. He never plays game. We never fuck the teacher. I never lied to the teacher. Next, rarely. I rarely in the morning. He rarely exercise. I rarely read a book. We rarely skip school. He rarely eats in the morning. He rarely drinks. We rarely go out to play together. She rarely tries. Next. Formula adverb of frequency. The adverb of frequency formula serves to implement adverb in a sentence, namely 1. Adverb of frequency for verbal sentences. In sentences that have verbs, adverb of frequency is placed before the main verb. Formula subject plus adverb of frequency plus verb. Example: they often go to the park on weekends. Next, formula adverb of frequency 2. Adverb of frequency in nominal sentences. Nominal sentences are sentences that used to be am, is, are, were. In tense pattern, adverb of frequency referred after to be to indent the condition or state of the subjects. Formula subject plus to be plus adverb of frequency. Example: they are usually happy to help. Next. 3. Adverb of frequency for emphasis. Adverb of frequency can be placed in the beginning of a sentence before the subject to emphasize how often an action is performed by a person. Formula adverb of frequency plus subject plus verb plus predicate plus subject plus verb plus predicate plus adverb of frequency. Examples: always Alfie come late to the coffee office. Next, adverb frequency, what modal verbs and auxiliary verbs. When using modal verbs can call will, will, soul, must, or auxiliary verb have, has, am, is, were. Adverb of frequency is placed after the modal auxiliary verb and before the main verb to show the frequency of the action. Formula: subject plus modal verb plus adverb of frequency plus main verb. Example: he can always find a solution to the problem. Next, conclusion. The conclusion of adverb of frequency is an adverbial sentence that is often used to explain how often an action or an event happened to someone. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mas Faisal Askari from Informatics Study Program in 152 40780. I will give my opinion about Indonesia versus Bahrain. The match between Indonesia and Bahrain in 2026 World Cup qualified on 10 October 2024 ended in a 2-2 draw, but was marred by significant controversy. Here are some key points about the match. Referee leadership controversy. Referee Ahmad Al-Kaf of Oman took country's take for his controversy decision. He extended the game far beyond the unaccounted 6 minutes of stoppage time until Bahrain scored an equalizer in the 99 minutes. This decision was considered unfair by the Indonesian team and many observers. Indonesian team direction coach Sintayong strongly criticized the referee's leadership, calling it biased and shameful. Impact of the match result: the draw puts Indonesia in fifth place in the Group C, standing with 3 points. If Indonesia had won, the would have been in second place in the group, behind Japan. Public reaction. The Indonesian public vented their disappointment on social media, with the hashtag AFCMafia trending and the meme 90+6 going viral as a criticism of the unreasonable extra time. History notes: the match was also rematch of Indonesian 10-0 defeat to Bahrain in the 2015 World Cup qualifiers, which still stand as the Indonesian national team's worst ever record defeat. Despite the disappointing final result, the Indonesian national team saw its positive progress by taking a 2-1 lead into the final minutes. However, the controversy of the referee leadership trends the game and caused debate among football fans. Thank you.